What's up? What's up? What's up? Where's my? We got the latest on the Tates. We got the latest on the Tates, and it looks like they're being thrown under the bus. Look like they came here, and they have been here before, but they got confident and they came here, and they pretty much got thrown under the bus. Now we do have a audio clip. Let me see what's up. We do have an audio.
Reminder of what is going to happen to.
We have an audio clip where it's almost like he pre-planned or he expected it to happen. He probably didn't know it would happen, but and you see these charges now. We know some of the charges. They have things they haven't released to the public, but and no in no kind of way. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. He'll have his day in court, and I think people need to come to deal with reality that the man's innocent until proven guilty. He'll have his day in court. So this isn't this conversation isn't about me proving anything. I'm simply saying he worked for Trump, him and Brandon Trump. He worked for him. He was a major influencer for the Trump campaign. He's always been an avid Trump supporter. He's been an open, avid Trump supporter. Trump can still help him. Trump can prevent him from being expedited. Trump can still help him. He campaigned for Trump. Don Jr. has referenced him on Twitter. Don Jr. said what was happening to him was awful when he was in Romania. He's worked with the Trump campaign as far as influencing the young voters. He's been an open, avid supporter. He's been on Piers Morgan. He's been out front that he's a big time MAGA alt right. He's a part of the alt right, right? Major figure in the white manosphere. We're in the manosphere. He's a major figure in the manosphere, and he's currently in a jail cell. I think they separated them, and you're just looking at they've both been separated, and I don't know anything about their affairs. There's beliefs that they're trying to do certain things with because there's a lot of moving parts here. It's more than what you think. And I know what the charges are, right? And those are significant, very, very serious charges, right? But there are other things that allegedly they were involved in as far as just other things. Going back to the webcam days, all types of accusations about allegedly money laundering, just all types of things. And they have them and they've separated them. And I think they're in solitary confinement. They're in individual cells. I don't think they have a phone. I don't know. I don't even think you're going to have a phone. Trump has he hadn't denounced him, but Trump says he doesn't know anything about it. Once again, they're MAGA influencers. They worked for the Trump campaign. Once when the Butler assassination attempt happened, Andrew came out publicly and said he was on the phone consoling Barron Trump. That's what he said. He said he's very close to the family. This is what he said publicly. He worked to get young voters to vote for Trump. He came to Miami for some type of event, and this is where people are saying for some he dropped his guard. or he got a little bit full of himself. He came to Miami and he was arrested. He was arrested on the spot. Trump, who was asked a question, isn't that something? No. Listen to this. Having people with the TO video, having people saying, Trump, why don't you speak about Nolan Wells? Trump, what about Eric Metcalf? Haven't people been saying that? And he doesn't say anything. And his so-called reporters, they don't ask him those questions. Do you know they asked Donald Trump a question about Andrew Tate? The man came out and said, he put a question to Donald Trump about Andrew Tate and his arrest. Andrew Tate. I was like, well, look at all these cases in America. Trump doesn't say anything about him. But now he wants to talk about Andrew Tate. And he said he didn't know. He said, I'm not aware of any of that. And basically, a lot of people are saying he threw him under the bus. And a lot of these MAGA influencers are throwing him under the bus. Based on those allegations or what they say, that's not good. But what I'm saying, here we have a mixed man. And so a lot of people don't even know the man's mixed. The man's the product of a black man and a British woman. They had 3 kids. And that's his father up there. He was a chess player. And a lot of people don't even know that. A lot of people don't even know that. And people are saying because of that mixed race, he's being thrown under the bus. He's expendable. Quote unquote, he was a useful idiot. They used him, now they don't need him anymore. Now, predictions are coming out that all this stuff's going to be dropped. There's a political prosecution here. I don't know. I am not trying to say I know what's going on. In any kind of way, I'm not saying I know what's going on. But there's a certain racial component. And I think that, and I'm saying, I think Andrew and his brother, I think that they got a little bit full of themselves because of these charges. And I think in Romania, Britain couldn't get them from there, or all of it is traveling. They got a lot of money. Obviously supporting Trump. I mean, like you could say he was doing that to protect himself. But I think he got a bit full of himself and he forgot, he just simply forgot that it was a possibility of him being extradited. And I think he had been here. I think he was going to do, somebody said he was scheduled to do a Fresh and Fit. He was going to do a yacht party with them. And I think he had been here before. And the officials came down. Now he's in America right now. Here, hold up. Here we go. Let me tell you exactly where he's at. Andrew and his brother Tristan are being held in a solitary confinement in a federal detention in a 5x12 cell as they await federal court tomorrow to go in front of a federal judge. Probably separated them from $100,000 suits to orange jumpsuits, from private jets and Bugattis to solitary confinement. Yeah. And all of that, that's how it goes. All of that stuff, whatever's going on now, they're probably going to raid their homes. They're probably going to go they're going to go in to start looking for stuff. And we'll see what happens. Will Trump get involved? He's really not useful to Trump now. I mean, unless Trump's planning on running again. It's really not useful to Trump because they used him to get the youth out here to vote. With those types of charges, it could come across as a political liability where Trump's putting he's helping them, but he's going to take a hit. And these guys have become national news. Not so much Tristan, but obviously Tristan, they're together. And to Tristan's credit, Tristan has on his Twitter, on his X or whatever, his Twitter. He's come out publicly and said, I'm a child of mixed race. You guys, he was talking about the alt-right and white nationalism. He said, you guys keep saying these things, and the product of a mixed race couple. So obviously I don't agree with that. Why would I agree with something like that? And I said, people forget that about them. They just totally blank that out. That's a picture of his father. And if you look at the picture, it looks just like Tristan. That's a picture of his father. They've become a liability. They'll probably be thrown under the bus. Now, let me say this, because I keep trying to communicate this. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to try to people. I don't know if they're guilty, but they're going to be thrown under the bus. And what you're going to watch, you say race matters. Race does matter because they're now expendable. And also, it's a wake-up call for them because even though they got all that money and they was able to go on the Piers Morgan and able to go on the Dr. Phil and they can go on all of these shows and they got this big internet presence, they're still in a society that even working for Trump, they're still expendable. They're still expendable. Can Trump do something? Yes. Trump can let them go back to Romania. Trump can let them leave America. He can get in the way of that, send them back to Dubai, go to these countries where they have no extradition policy. They can become citizens. And it's because of Trump's intervention, but who knows? But it's interesting that his name was discussed in not all of these cases. Not all of these cases, the Nolan Wales case, Trump's never spoke on that. The Eric Metcalf case, Trump's never spoke on that. I'm just surprised. Why are you talking about Andrew Tate? Trump said I wasn't aware. Now, Barron said he had a personal phone call with the man's son, Don Jr. He says he's very close to the Trump family. He's publicly supported Trump. I mean, here we go. We got the video right here. Fair use, fair use.
I am a reminder of what is going to happen to every single man in the dystopian future which they are trying to build for us. I'm a reminder of what they did to Trump, trial by media, endless allegations, some victim who he doesn't even remember the name and face of. And now the UK government is trying to silence me. They're accusing me of crimes which happened 15 years ago. They're not even telling me against who. 15 years ago you did something wrong. To who? We can't tell you. This is a setup. This is a political witch hunt, which is why the members of parliament are openly calling for my decimation. Where is my chance of a fair trial?
Hold up. I just saw something in the chat. I probably shouldn't acknowledge it. Listen to this. Listen to this. Just listen to this. This dude say they're setting them up because they talk bad about England. And that's minus all his profanity. Arrested the first time for talking bad about them. You think these rich MFers can put people away? You think because he's black, you got something wrong in your head? You're mental, dude. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? They're the furthest from black in front than anybody. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? They're the furthest from black. How? I'm confused about that. And you know, your profanity laced comments is very telling of where you stand. So they're not black. I didn't know that. They're the furthest from black. What do you mean? I don't even understand that. I don't even understand what that means. Why? Because they're alt-right? They are alt-right. Oh, they're all right. They are MAGA. They are MAGA. They're big time MAGA. But now they're in trouble. And will Trump step in to save them? And I forget, you guys are really, you have this internet relationship with these figures where you live through them. And that's so sad when I think about it. This dude's probably an incel. And his idea of enjoying life and is watching the Tates ride around in Bugattis. Bugattis, or whatever, Bugattis and the Brokies. And he's so detached from reality, he doesn't realize the Tates are mixed. They're black. They're black. And that's what I'm saying. The Tates create a issue with the alt-right because the racism that flows within the alt-right and the MAGA community. The Tates create an issue because they're mixed. And every now and then you get reminded of that. And they've said some things they probably shouldn't have said. But that's their father up there. And you know what? We finna put you in the dungeon. We finna get rid of you. What is wrong with these guys, man? We're gonna put you in the dungeon. What's wrong with me? I'm not the one. You know what? And this whole YouTube stuff. Look, man, you can like the Tates. I have listened to a lot of their content. Now, these charges, they'll have to face their day in court. But they're being ridiculous because you're acting like, okay, this is nothing but a setup, and they're going to let them go. They might. But these are some serious charges. See, this is what people need to understand. They're acting like these are not serious charges. These are very serious charges, in addition to other things. And a lot of the influencers, the MAGA influencers, have thrown them under the bus. They've thrown them under the bus. But they are black people. They are people of color. They are black people. They are mixed race individuals, which is not, I've never seen either one of them deny that. I've never seen any one of them make it seem like that was bad. But agreed, they don't bring it up. I agree with you on that. And if I was in MAGA circles, if I was doing what they were doing, if I was in those, I probably wouldn't bring it up. I probably wouldn't bring it up when some of the stuff that's said. But after working on the Trump campaign, after giving donations to the Trump campaign, financial donations, having a relationship with Don Jr., said he had a personal phone call with Barron Trump, a consoling phone call with Barron Trump, worked with Barron Trump for youth as a youth influencer. He now finds himself in a federal prison, awaiting extradition to Britain. And now a lot of the influencers that were chummy with him, were behind him, supportive, they're turning on him. And what you guys don't want to deal with is, to a certain degree, race matters. And that has to do with they're expendable. He's admitted to trafficking women and pimping them out. Okay. He's being thrown under the bus by the MAGA, the whole MAGA crowd. You're looking at it as, I'm trying to try their case. I don't know, man. They'll get their day in court. But as a black man in America, I just say, look at the way they've turned their back on these guys. This guy was going out his way supporting Trump. He was Trump this, Trump that. He's the guy who buys that stuff. He buys that little action figure of Trump. He talks to the man's kid on the phone. He knows the family. Now he's asking for Trump to get in the way. And Trump said he don't know nothing about it. Trump knows about it. Now, Trump, why don't you talk about some of these other cases? Why don't you talk about the cases that's happening in America? Yeah, he has a black dad, descendants of slaves. Yeah. Well, the race aspects of the case comes now. They're in the legal system now. And now we're talking about a completely view of a person. And you wouldn't understand. You know what? See, your racism causes you to discount reality. It ain't got nothing to do with no race in this case. Are you nuts? Those are two mixed race kids. I mean, two mixed race men. That's about going in front of the judge. Those are some serious charges, man. They may never see the light of day. They finna go to prison. Listen, they'll get a fair trial. All that. What I'm saying, we'll have to deal with that. The reality of that. But you guys act like they're just going to be set free. No, they're not. Trump could do it. But when you take a look at it, how does it benefit Trump? When have you seen Trump do something that doesn't benefit him? Yeah, they helped him. Trump don't need the help anymore. And they probably did help Trump because they expected I might need this guy. But they came to Miami. They did that. They said, we're going to come to Miami. They're the ones who publicly announced their whereabouts. And Britain was trying to get their hands on them. Britain has an extradition policy with America. They're going to take them. And all the charges, there's you go and look. There's 4 new witnesses. People are coming out of the woodwork. We don't even know how many people are going to show up. When they get to Britain, they might have 20 more witnesses, 20 more victims. They might. It's very possible. And they're going to be thrown under the bus. And that's my point. You guys keep talking about the trial. I'm talking about, look at how you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about, look at how Andrew and Tristan went out their way supporting Trump. They was Trump this, Trump that, vote for Trump, 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 Trump. I know his family. I talked to his son, Trump, 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 Trump. And now that they're in trouble, Trump said, I don't know nothing about it. And I said, look at how this is my issue. Look at how the world do you. That's what I'm saying. You think I'm trying to try the case. I'm not. I'm saying, ain't that something, man? You still a black man, no matter how much money you donate, no matter how much you get out there and get people to vote, you still a black man. And then let me get this racist. Bro, you guys got to get out of this stuff right here, man. This is a black dude. We got to get out of this. Some of the things you guys say, man, it just don't make sense, man. Just trying to have a discussion, man. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm saying that you get in the chat and people in there calling white people racist and all that. Don't do that, man. We just having a discussion. Some of these people, some of these guys, this duck guy, they're saying things. You're right. He said, if I had to guess, it was about Andrew talking about Sneeko. Probably. Now that you say that, probably. Yeah, I don't know this. I certainly don't know this, but if you know a guy, he's under, he has stuff, he has history. Probably. Why wouldn't you get on the phone with the FBI and say, well, he's going to be in this place? You know, this guy, you guys are looking for this guy, or Britain's looking for this guy. Who knows? I don't know. You're saying that he had an issue with Sneeko and all of them. So, but I'm saying all of these influencers who supported him, they've thrown him under the bus now. They've thrown him under the bus. Now, he came to America. He's in a federal prison, both of them. If you know their story, their father got screwed over. You probably don't know that story though, do you? You see, you get up here, these MAGA influencers, they don't even know the Tates. You just heard him online say some stuff. This man's father got screwed over. This man was a major, what was it, the FBI thing? He was in the military, he was in the Air Force. He went on to work, do special projects, and something happened while he was doing that. And that impacted their divorce. They had a divorce. And he was in London. That's where he met his bride. And they had 3 kids, and they all lived in Chicago. His sister is currently a lawyer. He said, they are black. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that something? They've been black. He says, let's see if Myron gets him a lawyer. That's what real homies do. Yep. Well, I think he has a lawyer, though. I think that he has lawyers. She says, look, he says, they are as white as they are black. Okay, so that would apply to Obama? You guys pick and choose, man. You guys pick and choose. In fact, Obama, they try to blacken Obama. You guys pick and choose. The Tate brothers, they've already been thrown under the bus, man. And let me say this, I'm going to say this again. They've been thrown under the bus. They are going to have a trial. Will they leave America? I don't know. I don't know. But here he goes. Check him out.
When members of parliament are saying I deserve to go to jail without even seeing the evidence which has been put in front of a judge. This is a setup head to toe. And what they are doing to me is the same thing they tried to do to Trump, and it is the same thing they're going to do to every single one of you. Do not forget, they tried to put a bullet in Trump's head, and now they want me gone. What they are doing to me is coming to every single man who wants to protect the sanctity of his child's mind. If you do not want your kids learning propaganda in school, they will destroy you. What they're doing to me is the same thing they will do to every single man who refuses to take a vaccine because Pfizer wants to make money, even if it gives you turbo cancer. What they're doing to me, they will do to you. What they're doing to me is the same thing they will do to every single man who feels a patriotic love for his homeland. The homeland his ancestors built, fought, and died for. What they're doing to me, they're going to do to you too. They may kill me first, but they're going to kill all of us.
Well, and I haven't listened to that, and it's, we're going to stop it there. It actually goes on another 2 minutes, but this is something that he taped prior to. And he says, talk to Trump. I mean, okay, my point is that he's an avid Trump supporter. He is an avid Trump supporter. What's Trump going to do? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. He's alt-right. A lot of the alt-right, they're throwing him under the bus. Listen, man, I'm sitting back. A lot of the MAGA, the alt-right influences, a lot of the manosphere influences, they're throwing them under the bus. So we're going to see. They do have their own lawyers, but we're going to see what's going to happen. And clearly he's trying to campaign to get Trump to try to be on his side or support him. And now's the time when he needs him. Now, he came here. He came to America. And now he's, they're going to ship him off to Britain. Said both Andrew and Tristan are black, biracial, and were both active Trump supporters. This is propaganda he's putting out. What's propaganda? Oh, yeah. Hold on. John Henry. And how you doing, man? Who's putting out propaganda? Oh, he's talking about Andrew Tate. Okay. I guess that's what you're talking about. I guess. Like the stream, man. Did the Trump brothers assault women? Well, they got gonna go to court. They're accused of doing it. They're gonna go to court. He said Trump isn't going to do anything because the midterms are coming up. Trump doesn't need any more problems, but it's too late. Okay, so then they got all right. So given that and all this stuff, what all the stuff that they got caught with and all that stuff, in no kind of way. Look, who said they'll have their day in court? All right, and they said other people in Britain are coming out. They'll go to Britain. If they get sent to Britain, then they'll have to stand trial. Where are you getting people? I'm saying let them go. They're asking Trump to let them go. They're asking Trump. And they got more influence on Trump than this Eric Metcalf or this Nolan Wells. Trump ain't said nothing about them. And they're Americans. You talking about the Tate bros coming here to watch a bare knuckle brawl? And they get arrested and they get the president of the United States discussing the possibility of intervening. They had that. They had that. Right now, they're in separate cells. All these Andrew Tate fans and Andrew Tate supporters, they're turning on them. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm just watching. I'm observing. I said, man, this, their father went through some stuff. Well, it felt like the government let the father down. I have to go and refresh my memory on that. Something dealing while he was in the Air Force. They lived in Chicago for about 9 years. They went back to England. They became this alt-right MAGA influencer. But MAGA acted though they were not of mixed race. They acted like they didn't know. And whenever that comes up, they get mad. They get upset about that. Why do you get upset about it? The guy's a mixed race. And it affirms the black community that says the race matters, especially in the judicial system. So they're not going to be afforded all of this get out of jail or all of this extra stuff. No, there's still two people of color falling under the system. And that's what I'm talking about. These other guys are talking about the case, specifics of the case. Let me say this, though. I hope it's not true. When you look at those allegations, I hope they're not true. I hope they're not true. Like the stream, man. Andrew Tate is putting out, yep, well, there you go. And see, this is the thing, John, he's been doing that for years. And this is what I mean. When they say that Negro call, that man's been running around with the Matrix and all of that, and they're after me, and it's all, and they got him. And they got him in Miami. And after all of that, that stuff don't matter, man. You could go on your YouTube. You find yourself having to deal with a court case. You can go on where you can. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to do that, but you can go on a court case and try your case on YouTube. And we're going to see if all of that, man, it does. We'll see if Trump is going to step in the middle of this. We'll see. Obviously, Trump says he doesn't know. I don't believe that. Barron Trump knows this guy. And who knows, Says sometimes kinfolk don't want to be kinfolk because kinfolk culture is all messed up. Not all kinfolk is family. First ones to stab. Yeah, you're right about, hey, she's Spacey. I couldn't agree more. You're a lot of times your biggest adversary or your biggest impediments is your family members, people who can actually come into your home. You can go out here in this world and live your life, and you could be very, very careful who you befriend and who you let into your circle. You could really be watching out. Even when you're talking about marriage, you could be extra, extra careful with that. And it could be a a blood relative who has access to you because they're a blood relative, and that person can be the person that deals the damage that ruins you. Well, yes, yes, sir. It could be a child. It could be a child. What this woman, the woman who shot the 20-year-old dude, the kid didn't like her because she was whooping her. The kid was right in the police face saying, she told me she gonna do it. Yeah, she did it. That's her child. She did it to protect her child. Her child was threw her under the bus. Her blood relative did it. And look, getting into whether she should have done that to the guy, that's not what I'm discussing. And that's what's wrong with these YouTubes. It's supposed to be a place where you can discuss things and people immediately think you're trying to defend stuff. Nobody's trying to defend the Tates. They're two black men. And that's another thing, too. That's another thing. There are two black men in a world. Oh, shout out to you, John. $10 holler. We appreciate that, John. He said Project 2025 was a bust. ICE is flatlining citizens in the streets and deporting people who have not committed crimes. So yeah, Trump is pretty much done. They are white passing, but black regardless. Yeah, because ultimately they're not white. I mean, you can say whatever you want. They're not white. Can you get online? They're not just them. Can you get online and can you be a ultra MAGA, ultra Trump supporter and give the impression that you're a black person like that? It's a bunch of MAGA influences. They're mixed. And I'm going to say, look, you can be cocoa, dark skin, chocolate, and be a Trump supporter. That's not my point. This is about honesty and dishonesty. When you're presenting to the world that you're a white person, and you're even joining in on the white nationalism, and you're moving higher and higher and higher in the movement, but you're a product of a mixed race, it makes you scratch your head. You have to scratch your head about that. And a lot of the influencers are throwing them under the bus. They're throwing them under the bus. And as a black man, I'm watching. And they got a lot of money. They're gonna be out of money. They're gonna be out that money. Let me tell you something. If Trump don't intervene, they ain't gonna have no money. I don't get all them Bugattis. They're gonna get all of that's gonna be gone. And just got to remember, you have to maintain that residence in Romania, all of the residents, and I seen it's beautiful. I seen the property that he purchased. That place was beautiful. Rolling hills. There was wildlife on it. I think they had some cows. Just beautiful. The view. Yes. But now he's in a cell, 5x12 federal prison cell, eating prison chili, wondering if Trump is going to help him. Meanwhile, a lot of the MAGA influencers are throwing him under the bus. And you can do what you want to do. Hey, I'm going to throw him under the bus. He got caught with that stuff. Oh, he ain't this and that. Who's saying don't do it? I'm saying that's his reality, that they're throwing him under the bus. And for me, it's just a reflection. I said, look, another black man who sort of forgot what he was, and now he's got to find out the hard way. Another black man's got to find out the hard way. You still a black man. They're not going to let you do it. Shout out to 1970 John Henry. John Henry had that big hammer, that big hammer. In old language, the two of them would be considered quadroons due to being biracial. Yeah, I don't even octoroon. I don't, man, ain't that something, man? Can you imagine that? What's that? That's that old Jim Crow racial classification. Isn't that crazy when you think about it? I think that was under Jim Crow. They classified you by your DNA strand. Uh uh what's the rapper Mulatto? She had to change her name to Lotto. We like to pretend that we're so advanced. We're not that advanced. That terminology, people still use that stuff. I don't know, I have no idea what that stuff means. I think I watched a Spike Lee movie. They was talking about Octo Maroon. I said, what? I said, what's that? That's actually a wonderful movie of a woman who could pass. I think it was made in the 50s. And she was a white woman. And I think they did cast the actual white woman for the role. In the movie, she's a school teacher. And she's has a wonderful reputation, well received. She's married to a white guy. And she's on the bus. And it just so happened this time she gets on the bus, there's a dark-skinned house servant, like a dark black woman. And she recognizes her. And she say, Miss Sally, Miss Sally. And everybody on the bus just start to look. And you can see her, she sort of backs up. And she said, how you doing? I talked to your mom. How you been doing? And that's when and then she was passing until that exposure came. And then, do you know, in that movie, they ran that woman out of town. They ruined that man. That man had to step down from his job. I think he was a banker. He had to step down from the bank, and they got a divorce. And that woman, they ruined that woman. That woman had to go. She didn't go back home, but she had to leave that town. And I said, man, look at this stuff, man. And they said that she having conversations. I had successfully passed. And even the guy said, why didn't you tell me? And she said, why did it matter? Why did it matter? It's heart-wrenching, man. Heart-wrenching. And you look at the Tates. You look at the Tates, and you had BMF, Big Meech, federal prison. You look at the Tates, who they're going to be rocking with when they go to prison, when they're out on that yard. Who you think they're going to be standing next to? They certainly don't fit in with the white guys. A lot of the extreme MAGA, ultra conservative philosophy, that's not going to mesh with the black guys. So they really find themselves in a position where they have no position. Look, shout out to John. John, I appreciate it, man. John Henry with a $10 holler. If Trump did not help Puffy with his baby oil, why the hell do guys with sexual assault on their backs think they're going to get Trump to help them at this stage with the charges they have? One thing, John, I'll say about Trump, you can't predict him. And also, Puffy doesn't know his son. Puffy actually campaigned against Trump. Andrew Tate, given he was Andrew Tate, Trump had to still keep a certain amount of distance, but he worked with Brand. It's right there in black and white. He worked with Google. He worked with Brandon Trump to influence the youth. So that's probably what they're going by. That's probably what they're going by. He said, now look, this is a MAGA guy. Now, he says, keep crying about being a black man, blah, blah, blah. Leave the United States if you don't like being a black man. You won't because nobody wants you. Yeah, and that's Raymond. That's Raymond. I think he's talking to me. So, um, and this is the funny thing about it, Raymond. The problem is I want to be treated fair. You're telling me stop bringing up race, but you don't want to treat me fair. And we're watching it right now with these Tate bros. You guys, they were big. They were at the top of the ladder. Now all of a sudden, you guys throwing them under the bus. And you can say, well, look at their crimes. Okay, look at their crimes. But it comes across to me a little bit. You can't. This Negro is you can't use them anymore, so you discard them. That's what it comes across to me as. As far as the actual prosecution of the case, believe me, I have nothing to do with that at all. And these guys made their money, man, and all of that stuff. What they did, we don't know what they did. We know what they're being accused of. It's terrible what they're being accused of. It's awful. It's horrible. He said there, oh, you're speaking of a different movie. There were two with a similar background. Yeah. I probably could look it up. You know what? Out of interest, I do want to know how, like, it was a movie that was in the black and white theaters. I would be interested in how it fared at the box office. It's a classic. Oh, I think I saw it years ago on Turner Classic Movies. You know, and I haven't watched Turner Classic. I don't even know if that's even a channel. But there was a period of time when they used to. I used to love the guy would come out before they would play the film, and he would do a little narration and give you a little prep about the story behind the film. And he introduced that film. I think they did it on Weekend. I think he played about 3 of them, and they were like racial things that impacted America and how certain actors and stuff, how it affected their careers. The Tate brothers, what are they going to do? What are they going to do now? The product of a interracial marriage, going into a prison system with serious crimes, being open, avid Trump supporter. I don't even know if that would even mesh. He said the Tate's going to rot in prison. Some people are saying they're not going to go to prison. But MAGA, you got to understand, MAGA has so little influence with these black influences. Shout out to you, John Henry, for the $20 holler. Look, John, thank you, sir. He's been extra generous. Raymond fails to realize that America was built on the racism he's advocating. Everyone look up the 1790 Naturalization Act, which said only white men of good candor could be U.S. citizens. Raymond represents this mentality. And you know, wait a minute, but John, what he doesn't understand is he would not be a citizen. See, Raymond thinks his race was all you needed. He has no idea about this country. None. I'm saying because he thinks that no, it wasn't like that. Like he said, good candor. That means you had to have speak up. People had to speak up for you. You couldn't come from poverty. You couldn't marry an Indian. When you go and look at America, a lot of the white men who were a bit, if your parents died, if you were not a part of polite society, but you was a hard worker, you was a blacksmith, right? Which is not really a social job, but you were a good blacksmith. But you did not marry what they considered, a woman that was what the preference was. Just say you took an Indian wife. Just say you out there living You keep to yourself. You take an Indian wife, that's your wife, you have a son. Do you know the holy hell they got put through? And these were white men. They were ostracized. The kid was ostracized. They were shunned from the town. And I'm saying, this guy's sitting up here saying this stuff like just because he's white, he's gonna fit in. Nah, bruh. Now you wouldn't have been treated like a black person, but you still got to meet that criteria to be a citizen. And if you really, a lot of it had to do with money. A lot of it. And if you were familiar with America, go and look at our country, man. Go look at our history. Stop listening to Fox News and go get a real understanding of America, the country. And get on your knees and pray to God that you weren't born during that time. And I mean that, get on your knees. Get on your knees and pray. I'm gonna, as soon as this stream is over, I'm gonna get on my knees and pray. I wasn't born during slavery. That ain't my thing. I'm telling you right now, that the slave thing, I can't do that one. I'm too much of a man. I like women. I don't like to be treated like a child. It would not work for me. I'm not going to get out there and pick master's cotton and play crazy when master don't know what he's doing. And yes, boss, but if I use those nails, sir, those nails don't work on that towel. What'd you say, boy? Oh, I'm going to use the nails you gave me, sir. And then come here, Leon. Did you see all those towels fly off that roof? Yes, sir. I told you to fix that roof. Sir, the nails you gave me, they weren't the right nails. You trying to blame me for that? Get a beating for that? No, man, I can't. That's okay. That's okay. That ain't my thing, man. No, sir. And you ran right. I feel like stopping it right now. I'm finna get on my knees and pray. I wasn't born doing that. Then that day of America, I'm praying to God that wasn't me, man. What's up with your truck? Got a black man in the chat box. He's out there traveling. Black man. He's out there in Cambodia. Just left Vietnam. Thailand. Living a full life. If this was, the 1700s, he couldn't do that. He couldn't do it. It had nothing to do with his intelligence. It was his skin color. So now we got the Tates. That's their father there. For those who don't see it, you can look at him and see he looks just like Tristan. And they're finna go to jail. And they're going to find out what it's like to be under these charges and be a black person. They finna find that out. They finna find that out. Things may not go the way they're wanted to go. And for them, it's a hard fall. It's a hard fall for them because you're talking about Bugattis. Man, go and look at some. I've seen their man, that place that Andrew was showing off, I don't even know where it was, but it was in some foreign country. It was beautiful. It was by a coast. It had rolling green, lush grass hills. There were cows for fresh milk. There was exotic birds. It was quiet. Oh, it was extremely racist what he was saying too. But he doesn't have that anymore. Now he's got to share a prison cell. And what group is he going to hang out with? The alt-right in the federal jail? His extreme conservative philosophy, is he going to be able to hang out with the blacks, the thugs? Let me tell you something. You don't want to go You don't want to go to jail if you're not a thug. Now, if you're a thug, it ain't gonna matter because you're a thug. But going in there and you a preppy upper crust person, you're not gonna mesh with the community any more than they would mesh with the community you're in. If you're white corporate and you a jail dude, you ain't gonna mesh with the people there. The way y'all see the world, the interest y'all hold. But he's locked up, man. He's locked up. I don't know what that means. He said lemon squeeze. What does that mean? Yeah. You guys have all these I don't even know what that means. Shout out to John Henry. Slave codes, which were introduced 1661 in Virginia and 1664 in Maryland, put an end to interracial marriage. You see that? Slave codes. Yes, people could marry whomever they chose before racism was solidified. Yeah. Yeah, because they didn't want that, but they didn't want those, they didn't want the they didn't want black and white to mix because they didn't want the offspring, and they looked at it. And when you go back to HBCUs where that was started, and you looked at the Thomas Jefferson, we was just talking about Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. Trump said no. And then you go look at those founding fathers. Go look at the way they were living them lives. Do you think they should be on there? Do you think that they should be on there? Did you know what they were living their lives? And I tell my old story about Christopher Columbus. The Indian chiefs, eventually they saw that they were new and they were struggling, and they helped them. They helped them. They reached out to them. And because they were men who had been on the ship, the Indians said, I'm going to present them with resources, and they're men. I'm going to present them with 13 squaws because they're men, so that they can maintain the comforts of a man. Do you know they turned that down and requested boys? And I'll stop right there, man, because that's some Christopher Columbus stuff. You know, and you make of that what you want to. Make of that what you want to. Look, shout out to John Henry for the financial support. And once again, that wasn't black people. You see, you guys got to remember, black people did not sit in those levels of power. So when they say no when they say no interracial marriage, that was white people doing that. That wasn't black people doing that. That was black people. White people have written, they write the laws of this country. Wow. He said Tristan needs to distance himself from his brother. Andrew is whack. You know, that might be going through his head. That is his brother, though. But he might turn around and work with the prosecution. He might. It's easy to say he won't until you go to sleep in there and you hear what's going on in there, and you're smelling that prison food and the stress of it. You can't eat. You can't eat under those conditions. And at any given time, shit can pop off. That's very unhealthy for your heart. Because a lot of times when you see these guys, when they get out, they make it about a year. All of that stress, that jailhouse chili, the fighting, the politics, and they make it out, they last about a year. Bam. Before they just pass away, man. Just too much stress. We'll see, man. Oh, my fault. She said squall is a okay. My fault. Whatever they call them now. Who's that guy? Johnny Weissmiller. When he controversial, he was a mixed. That was Tarzan, right? And he was a mixed race. And they spoke about how there was controversy with that. Babe Ruth, um, win one for the Gipper. No, no, no. What's that guy's name? Football player. What's that football player? There was a football player. He was Indian and white. What was his name? He was real good football player. I don't know his name though. I don't know his name, but and then he faced what- Jim Thorpe. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe. And there was issues because he was mixed heritage. You see what I'm saying? There was issues with that. And go all you gotta do is go look him up. I think he had trouble playing for some people. They didn't want to play. They didn't want to play against him. Junior say, no, I'm not talking about present day. Look, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate were taken into custody. They're to be extradited to England. President Trump spoke on the situation, says he didn't know anything about it. He has a relationship, Andrew has a relationship with Don Jr. As recently as 2024, he worked on the Trump campaign. He did not do it officially. Obviously, look at these charges. Obviously, he couldn't officially do it, but he was online. And Brandon Trump, he said during the Butler situation, he had a very personal, consoling conversation with Brandon Trump. He says he understands the family. He loves the family. He knows them very well. Will Trump intervene? Will he? I mean, who knows? There's a town in Pennsylvania called Jim Thorpe, PA. Will he intervene? And if he intervenes, I think they can go back home and then still deal with that matter. But they probably were feeling themselves. You got Fresh and Fit. Maybe I think maybe they were going to be on that, but anyhow, they probably were feeling themselves. They came here, and boom, they got just because you have charges and you go somewhere and don't get arrested. That don't mean all is good. That don't mean that at all. They just didn't get you. And you were saying these other influencers. It's possible if there's issues with the other influencers, there's a certain amount of hostility, allegedly. It's possible other influencers can let the authorities know. It's possible. It's possible. Like the stream, brother. And see, this is what I mean when people say racism is dead and all that. Look at this. Tell us more about your people history of losing. That shit's still real, man. Let me get this dude out of here. He's not really here to discuss anything. He's just here, get up out of here. There you go. Bam. Whew. Some of these guys, man. Says interracial marriage was illegal until 1967. Now it's perfectly okay for a white girl to be a single mother on welfare and a drug addicted. Yeah, well, it's a lot of single moms. You're right. That's often overlooked in America. That's up. That's up. So, and I mean, you can marry who you want to marry. If a woman chooses the wrong man, regardless of his race, she may wind up a single mother. Possible. We finna watch this streaming university stuff go down. That's gonna be filled with all types of just wild stuff. Like the stream, man. We're gonna drop the drawing link, man. We'll take your thoughts. We'll take your thoughts if you have something to add. You can chime in. Had to put this out. We've been behind. We're trying to keep up. Said that Tates would leave Romania in order to be picked up in the U.S. or the UK. Well, hey man, you got to take if you got to look at your situation and know if you're wanted or someone if if a country's looking for you, you got to be careful with that. You're getting on planes but because they came and it's sort of like that's bold. But then again, maybe he thought Trump would support him. Has ever crossed? Maybe he looked at it and thought, Trump got me. They know better than to come at me because of Trump. Maybe that's what he thought. That wasn't a good idea to do that. What's up with you do business?
What's good with your plat?
What's up?
Man, just chilling, man. Just checking out the show. But I wanted to speak about this the other day because I wasn't able to catch a lot of your shows that you've been doing. They've been coming on late, but I'm glad I caught you early. But I took a look at this case. They said they got in trouble with some had something to do with some females or some. They didn't necessarily say trafficking. I don't remember them
Yeah,
saying
they
that,
got
but
they got some charges. We don't have to talk about that on this what they are, but yeah, we know they got charges pending.
yeah, yeah, in the UK and all that. So I mean, honestly, I don't know what be wrong with dudes. I mean, when they do certain things, I mean, eventually you're gonna get caught. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
common sense, man. You're gonna get caught. It's just like the guy that was a Olympic gold medalist. They caught him with metric tons of
Mhm.
drugs. So they caught him. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. Trying to bring that stuff in through container ships. Like, every container has to be checked on
Money,
ports.
money,
Yeah,
money. That's the thing about it. You have to, as a man, you got to make a decision. Do you want to get the money or do you want to be free? I mean, what I mean by not free, do you want to just accept you got to get the money via legal means?
that's
And
what
it
I'm
might
saying.
be, it
Yeah,
might take a longer time. Like
right.
you drive a truck,
Hmm.
right? If you packed your truck with cocaine, you would make a lot of money, but you would be rolling the dice that you would face a lot of time if you get caught with that. So that's a choice. I mean, that's a decision that people make. The thing that they did, what they're being accused of. I mean, we don't know what they were doing in England. We don't know what they were doing. All these places. Um, that's very dangerous. The webcam, all that stuff. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, he pretty much talked himself into it. I mean, I never even heard his brother speak, but Andrew Tate, yeah, he pretty much talked himself into it. They're being real flashy and going to all these other countries. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I thought the dude was a fighter at one point in time. So uh, by him being a fighter, that does takes a lot of discipline, just to train, for every fight. Because I mean, they only have 4 rounds in the UFC, but it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, if you take it serious, that takes discipline. So I don't know what happened, to those guys, whoever you are, when you go off the straight path. Uh, when you try to make loud money like that, yeah, I mean, of course,
Well,
they.
for the Tates, it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
Um, allegedly, they have been doing money laundering. Allegedly, when you start talking about that casino stuff, something about that. I mean, I don't know. Allegedly, the case of the, dealing with women, right? That too. But they believe that, and that's what happens. They believe that there might be some other things that they may have been involved in. And see what happens. You're in prison. They take
Yeah,
your phone. And then when you're a criminal, who you going to talk to? You going to go and call, you going to pick up, you going to say, hey, well, a lot of them do. But if you keeping it to yourself, they're going to check everything. And now he's trying to get Trump, to let him out and go back to Romania. So who knows if Trump will do it, but he's still a black man, no matter what he's been saying. Both of them are still black men in the black community. See, we're just watching the downfall of the Tates. And it's like they thought that all that Trump and alt right and would save them. And unfortunately, it's not going to save them.
yeah, I'm still with you. No, I don't know why my phone be tripping, man. May have to give me some ear pods or something. But nah, man. Yeah, like I said, I really wasn't rocking with the dude anyway when I first, seen him and heard about him. It's like, he always came across as a radical maniac. You know what I'm saying? Like I never took him serious anyway. So
Hmm.
guys like this, man. I mean, there's so many of them, and as long as you ain't doing nothing, illegal, then you should be straight. Because I mean, people talk about whatever on social media, but with this Andrew Tate dude, he's always been an interesting character, always been an interesting dude, man. So you go
That's
to
a, that's,
Romania, go ahead.
mhm. No. It's a lot of people on social media who they hit their they hit their mark. They come on social media. They're regular people. Whether it's a Twitch stream, all of a sudden things just take off for them. They're making more money they've ever made in their life. They're doing things, but boom, turns out 5 years prior to that they were doing criminal stuff, and then that they they have to deal with that. So that's what I mean. That and what they call that is ghost of the past. You get visited from those ghosts, and they come back. Now, what you keep saying is, and I agree, just do the right thing. Well, if that was the case, we wouldn't need prisons and stuff like that. But people find that hard to do. Temptation is temptation is a mother.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how much money do you need? It's like some people get a little bit too greedy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have
Mhm.
enough, you can always flip it. I mean, goodness gracious, man. Whatever happened to just really using your head? You know what I'm saying? Like, but some people turn into monsters. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a whole warehouse full of money, like for what? You're gonna have to do something with it eventually. So, it's unfortunate. Um, it really is, man. It's unfortunate because, like I said, the guy was a fighter. So I mean. he did something positive with his life. Like I said, I don't know much about his brother, but it's like I said, he went to Romania and got in, situations over there. It's like, man, I mean, how many times does it take for you to learn your lesson? Now you got to get extradited to the UK. Like, man, obviously that's where they want to be. Because if you didn't want to be there, you wouldn't put yourself there.
They got sloppy, and they went to Florida, and I guess they thought that everything was good. Trump gonna protect them, and I can see that. Well, I ain't got to worry about it because Trump is gonna make sure we straight. And they went in there and they got apprehended.
Yeah, man, that's not a place that you. I mean, people live in Florida. I mean, I get it, but to me, Florida is not a place to live. I would never live there. It's a good place to visit, but I just don't like Florida. Most of the people that live there don't speak English anyway. A lot of people. I was even talking to this guy the other day. The mechanic dude. One of them didn't even speak no English. I'm like, so I had to talk to someone that actually spoke English. But yeah, that just the vibe in Florida it's a really weird vibe, man. Those, I mean, shout out to the sports teams and all that, but that's not a place where you need to be, or you want to be, doing something illegal or trying to hide, man. Because you know, it, I just don't like Florida, but but at the same time, it's just not a place you play around. They real serious about their law enforcement, all over the state. So, um, damn, that's
Oh
crazy.
man, I mean, you saying that, but I mean, those are serious charges. The allegations that are being coming up. They say they got 5 more uh, allegations in England. Those are very serious, and like I said, it's how you come up. So a guy who decides to get into that lifestyle, the streets and strip clubs and women, and involved with that, you still them people. Plus, you leave those people behind. A lot of times, that's going to create a lot of hostility because you hit your mark on the internet, like Andrew, and you see the money coming in with this internet stuff, but the people people left behind are gonna say, hey, what about us? Um, and now he's got to deal with these allegations, man. And somebody had that video of him with that belt, and they were saying that that's all consensual. But what you have to understand, a 15-year-old cannot consent, and they're doing some type of role play. And he's hitting her with a belt. Can't do that to a 15-year-old. You can't say we agree to do it. We doing some role play. Don't work that way. Man, that's just me talking. I'm saying he's got to deal with these lawyers, these prosecutors. He's got to deal with them. So, and we'll see how it works.
Yeah, I mean that's even worse if that's true. What you just said. I mean, yeah, that man. I just don't get some people, man. I really don't. Man. Seriously, man. Oh my God. That's the same thing that happened to a lot of people in America, man. You got cult leaders, and what I'm saying, they be doing that kind of stuff, getting young girls pregnant as if someone is not going to find out. You want people to worship you, and next thing you know, you end up in prison. You got all these charges. You're supposed to be some type of motivational person, and then you got all this other extra stuff like Brother Polite. One of the dumbest people I ever
Oh
seen.
no, on that's you can't. That guy, that's terrible.
Yeah, Nature
That's
Boy and all
beyond
these people.
terrible.
You see what I'm saying? It just,
Well, yeah. I mean, but we don't look.
you know what
The
I'm saying? I'm
polite
just,
thing is ridiculous. I mean, it's no for him to. He was found guilty of that.
hmm
You have to control yourself, man. If you are a pastor, right,
right.
and you have say you're a pastor and your assistant pastor and your uncle You come in for him for a year, sit behind him for a year, he passes away, and they turn the church over to you. Well, if all those people in that church, they're listening to you, and a lot of those women, they're going to be talking to you. They're going to want to pray with you. They're going to want you to come by their house and pray with them. Now, temptation, you have to overcome that, and that's a part of your journey. That's a part of your struggle. You're going in there and you're comforting and you're directing and you're shepherding. You don't go in there and engage in that. But see, when you're weak, you're going to fall for that. You're going to say, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Why? Why not? Well, you're a pastor. So what? I'm still a man. That's a weak person. So you're going to be life. That's why you have to be, you got to stay straight and narrow and stay focused and let the temptations come, but beat the temptation. You drive a truck. Somebody could come up to you with some type of illegal plan. You say, well, no, man, that ain't for me. Well, man, I know you get away with it. Say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. You see what I'm saying? And then, well, I could make what I would normally make in a year. I could make that in a month, but I would be risking my future, my freedom. And we live in a society now, they don't look at it like that now. Like you said, money, 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 Bugattis, $1,000 suits, private jets. Well, they got them.
Yeah, you got to work hard for that stuff. Everything that you spend, it has to be verified. Everything in your bank account has to be verified. The transactions are there. You know what I'm saying? For the bank to see, and of course, if the law enforcement get a hold to it, they're gonna check you out. So I mean, this is basic information. So dudes that want to be scammers, eventually you're gonna get caught. I don't care who you are, male or female, you're gonna get caught eventually. And next thing you know, they're gonna be on some TV show talking about some stuff they used to do and all this kind of stuff. It's just retarded, man. Some people are really insane. You're gonna go to jail. Are you crazy? Like,
well, this was after they got. Well, I don't know what they went into. It might be more that we don't even know about. And people in the chat say the Tates are being framed. So, because they got released, I think in Romania, they had them for a while. They let them out. And I think they've been to America before. I know Ron DeSantis, he wanted them out of Florida. And you got that online reputation that they have.
yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna rub people the wrong way. And when you when you start saying what they say, man, look, you got red pill, and then you got extreme red pill. You got commentary coming from a extreme point.
Yeah.
And when you do that, that's gonna rub people the wrong way, man.
Yeah, it puts a target on your back. I mean, because you can say what you want to say, but like I said, for whoever said that they're being framed, nah, dog, that they're not being framed. Dog. Whoever you are that said that, nah. When certain individuals, looking for you, certain organizations that's involved in law enforcement, I mean, you can make the case that all of us are being watched, but as long as you ain't doing nothing, you straight. You know what I'm saying? But they got cameras everywhere, all over the country, anywhere you can think. They always got some cameras watching you when you're driving, hitting you with these toll tickets. You don't even see them, all kind of stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah, you're right. Not money. You're right. They got me like 5 times, man, over like the last 3 years. Yeah, I hate
right.
looking in that mailbox, and you gotta get them extra $55 and all that.
Yeah, man, what is this, man?
You know what is this, man? You gotta call in and go pay it.
Right. They got me like that in Illinois, man, and in Kentucky. I said, man, I ain't even see the cameras, man. It's crazy, bro.
That's got to really be unfair to you, because you drive for a living, and so you more likely to be picked up by one of those cameras, but this is your job.
Nah, I mean in the truck, we got pre-pass. Now I was in my car those times, you know,
Oh,
but it's crazy, man.
well, this guy, man, in the black community, I mean, they've never been a fan of the Tates. It's just going to be interesting. You think Al Sharpton's going to get involved in this?
Nah,
Why not?
nah, man. We
Al,
don't want to be connected to no
Benjamin
stuff
Crump.
like that.
Benjamin Crump could get involved in saving the Tates. You know the sad thing about him though, if you go and look up their story or whatever, the dad was a great guy. I think the dad, he was a chess player, and one thing he used to do with the schools, he would take on the whole class. And I'm not talking about well, well, what I saw, it wasn't high schools. I'm sure he could do them, but he would go in there and he wanted to introduce the kids to chess, right? It was mostly impoverished kids, right? So what he would
Mm.
do is go in there and they would learn, before he would come, they would learn the basics of how to play. Then he would come in and say, everybody get out the chessboard. And then he said, okay, everybody here against me. Come on. And it's amazing how he would just walk down the line and make his move. Okay, you make I make my move. He would go desk to desk, desk to desk, and then slowly you would see him win. He said, boom, boom, boom. Okay, you out. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And I said, man, how do you do? Because he would just immediately just look at the board and see where they messed up. Okay, I got you. Boom, you out, you out, you out. And he won all of them. I said, how do you? But then again, he was a chess guy. And he was a good guy. So, and I'm saying, you look at the brothers, I mean, they are who they are, but that sort of made me sort of lean toward learning more about Andrew, right? Because of his father. And maybe they're victims of social media too, man. Maybe that's it. This social media, it'll steer you in a certain direction. And sometimes, you could put your foot in it, you went too far. And who's really in the red pill now, anyhow? I mean, where are the red pill people now? See, now if you take out Andrew, who's really left? Like the stream, man.
Yeah. I'm still here, Plat. But yeah,
No,
man, I hear you. I hear you.
who's it really in the red pill do business?
You said it. Say that again.
Who's really in the red pill spaces now? You got, if you get rid of Andrew, um, um, you could say Myron, maybe Myron, Candace, Barron. So is Barron going to become like? No, I've never. He still was he. Is that his expectations to come in behind like and be a huge like a MAGA person? Not MAGA. I mean alt right man's advocate. I hope not,
I mean,
man.
I
No,
don't know, man.
no,
I
I hope
mean,
not. I hope Barron don't do. Please don't do that, man. Go out there and find your way, but you don't need to be. Don't try to be like an Andrew. I'm not saying the criminal stuff. I'm saying period. The commentary, man. Don't do that.
well, let me ask you this: where is him and his brothers Republicans, the Tates?
Yeah, they're alt right MAGAs.
Man,
I wouldn't say they're like a Nick Fuente. Well, they're not far from him. So no, white nationalists, man, whether you like it, I mean, they're black men, but I guess they look white. They're white nationalists.
yeah, it's just it's so many characters, man. It's another person I want to call out, but I ain't even gonna say his name. But I can't even take him serious no more either. You disrespecting the elders. Some video he made talking crazy. I'm like, these dudes with these bald heads and these beards, man, and put them next to an ape, they look just like one. Like,
Hmm. Well, um, even the kids, even like Andrew has a real big following with the youth. They still gonna have to deal with the real world, man. And what you think versus the real world don't really matter.
Yeah,
So
man.
you can have an opinion about women all you want to, but you better be careful exercising that opinion. If you say I heard some influencer and he told me this is the way I should approach or deal with women, you better know what you better hope that guy's keeping you within legal guidelines. And that's one thing that when I discuss that stuff, we stay
Mhm.
within the legal boundaries of that stuff. When these guys, now listen to some of these guys, when they start saying things outside of legal boundaries, I'll be like, wow, I don't know about that, man.
Just let them talk. Talk themselves into an oblivion, man. Yeah, it's
But
working perfectly, man.
I got a picture for you, do business. Check this out right here. I had to get off early because I something happened.
All
But
right, let me check it out. Let me see.
that's that's the right. We talked about that a couple of hours ago, and we was telling as a guy, stop being intimidated. A lot of guys, you go to these parties, you're
Hmm.
intimidated by these women. And there's nothing wrong with women being beautiful. You're supposed to like them. They are supposed to excite you like that. But you got guys now that are so intimidated that they're afraid of this. They think, oh, well, I don't know, that's too many. No, it's not. Introduce yourself. It don't matter. Let them tell you no. And we were talking about that.
Well,
What's wrong
when
with
you
getting to know them? What you think? They're beautiful women. You go
right
and you introduce yourself, you live your life. That's nothing wrong with that.
now, you see the one that's standing next to the chick with the red hair. Now, that's to our left, but it's to her right. You see that one?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
With the
nice one right there.
with the tattoos.
Yeah, she got some tats.
Okay.
That's a nice one
Okay.
right there.
There you go.
Oh man,
Well, there you go. No, no,
cool.
do business. What I'm saying as a man, there you go. Why look at it and get intimidated and just not, why, you know? And if you are, you do need to take time out, find yourself, um, get yourself together. Because those women want men. They want men. They don't want some man who's so intimidated by that they need her to come over and talk to them, and they don't they get besides themselves. And there are men out there, that's the thing about, there are men out there like that. And Andrew has an extreme attraction. Men, they listen to Andrew Tate, and they want to be like Andrew, but they listen to Andrew. And the men who should be talking to these women, they're listening to Tate, and they don't realize you got to let Tate go. You got to get out there and let it happen, man. Just let it happen. You'll get strong enough where you can do it without feeling so bad. But I don't feel nothing by this, and this intimidates. These are just basic people, but this intimidates a lot of men, especially a lot of the incels. This just intimidates them.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking in the chat. One of the dudes said he don't need now. One of nah. I mean, like I
Good
said,
for you, man.
it's a few of them that bust them down. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But what I'm saying as a man, if I'm talking to an 18-year-old young man and he tells me, man, I got to wait till they disperse. And I said, what you mean? Yeah, I can't talk to him with all of them like that. I just don't feel right. I'm going to tell him, no, man, you need to do it. That's exactly when you need to do it, because you got to get over this willies and this fear. You got to get over that. Go talk to him now. I don't
Yeah,
care.
especially if it's in. Mhm.
No, let them see you go in there and make a move. No, and I'm saying Andrew would tell him the same thing. Andrew Tate would tell him, you go talk to him now. Stop looking for the easy way out. Just deal with life. Life is tough. Go
Right.
talk to him now. Yeah, and as he grows up, and like I said, they're looking for men. As he grows up, he'll meet someone and he'll be a man for that person. He'll meet a woman that he's a man now because he's been through the struggle. This social media has made so many men weak. You run,
Absolutely.
they run around looking all at porn.
Oh
They,
man,
they're afraid of women. And then you got the influencers that tell them that's okay. So that's what
that's
I'm saying now, man.
crazy, man. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right, Platinum. 100% right. Yeah, that mean, depending on the setting, sometimes it's all right to holler at a chick that's with other females. I mean, you might be able to get two or three of them. You never know. So,
All
but
you got to
nah,
do,
man.
and you got to have your shit together. That's another thing. I don't know why guys don't want to have their shit together. Got to have your shit together.
Hmm.
Are you a man? And what I mean is they're looking for men. Be a fucking man. Walking around with a Cheerio stains on your t-shirt, video games in your back pocket. You know that you're not being a man.
He's a Cheerios thing. That's hilarious. Who eats Cheerios, man? That's crazy, bro.
No, I'm just saying they're looking for men. And
Yeah.
guys are intimidated because guys don't want to be men. And that's what Andrew would tell them. This is Andrew's base. The guys who are intimidated by women. Now, when you say this is just an example, my point is that it could be 10 white women. We're living in the age where young men are not allowed to be men. They're not allowed to go through the trials and tribulations of being a man and control. You're dealing with somebody that's been on their phone and you got porn popping up every 15 minutes. No wonder they can't deal with women. No wonder they find themselves feeling funny in a room full of women. Well, you're hypersensitive. That's why see, we're in the age, this is this computer age. I lived before computers. I know exactly the difference. Well, no hypersensitivity. When you want a date, you better go in there and ask for a date. You go in there until it's over. Oh, clean yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the things you need to do to be a man so that the woman will do she's going to do it. A lot of them going to do that anyhow. That's just because the way our society's set up. Well, you do have your video gamers.
Hmm.
You do have females that are, you're right. You do have that.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah, it's just you got to get you. I mean, the communication is there for a lot of guys. A lot of guys don't approach women anymore because they're probably, like you said, used to just doing it on social media, like texting and all this kind of stuff, or video chatting. A lot of people have gotten away from that. I'm just glad that I'm not that kind of person. I mean, if you see a woman that you're attracted to, the natural thing to do is to talk to her. I mean, I don't know what else you can do, but
if I'm a dude out here, and I'm because we're talking about Andrew Tate. If I'm a dude out here
mm,
and I'm being intimidated and I'm suffering, I'm struggling, you got to look at yourself. Why? They're looking for men. Those women are looking for guys. Why aren't you a guy that they want? Oh, well, maybe you do need to clean yourself up. Maybe you do need to reconsider some of the things. The video games, man, that's taking your time. Do something else with your time. The football and the basketball, maybe you need to do something else. Maybe you need to be a better uh, um, gentleman.
yeah, I mean, I'm
Because
looking
I'm
at.
gonna tell you something right now. That ain't all guys. Because I could go to this place and it could be
Mhm.
50 guys. I guarantee you, 10 of those guys, those women be doing backflips to talk to. 10 of them, they'll be crazy about.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like yeah, I agree because I'm looking in the chat, dude, saying women are toxic. I mean, listen, man, that's true. Some of them are toxic, but that's not everyone, man. You know, we always got to keep the balance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you ain't got to be trying to, you know, some of y'all be taking things a little bit too serious, man. You got to, you got to crawl before you walk, man. I mean, you ain't got to marry the chick in 2 days, man, and she ain't gonna be your girlfriend in a week. You know, just get to know people. Just it's all right to just talk. Just like I was telling y'all about the chick that was talking to me. I mean, it wasn't nothing wrong with it. She just wanted to associate with me. I guess she felt comfortable doing that, and
Mm-hmm.
I ain't have no problem with it. You know, but
But do business, do business. This guy
yeah.
says I saw a video of some 15-year-old white kid that asked the Indian girl for her number, and she
Mhm.
said no. He walked off, and all these girls followed him out the store, and they tried to get him arrested. And let me say this to you, and I don't. What is this, Syra or something? Let me say this to you, Syra. He should have stand there. He should have stood there and got arrested. He did nothing wrong. He should have stopped right there where he was going. And they called or whatever, they should call the police. He should have stood there as a young kid, whatever. And when they showed up and they said what the problem is, I asked her for her number. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if he runs, then it looks like he did something wrong. I wish I would have been there to tell that kid, man, well, ain't nothing wrong with what you're doing and keep doing it. You know, be respectful and keep doing it. Nothing wrong with introducing yourself, man. We're still human beings, man. We still get to interact with each other, don't we? And see, that's what we get to Andrew Tate, because Andrew's right. See, you want to talk about his charges, okay? You want to talk about him being extradited. Okay, I'm really not talking about that. What I'm saying, that Andrew Tate exists for a reason. Andrew Tate exists because men, these young men, they're intimidated by a group of women. They're afraid of them. That's why you have an Andrew Tate. And you can say some of his commentary is irresponsible. I agree. I agree. Quite a bit of Andrew Tate's commentary is irresponsible. But that doesn't mean there's not a need for someone to help these
Mhm.
guys, especially pivot these guys into manhood. And even in manhood, pivot them so that they can survive. As a man, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being attracted to women. Oh, I'm finna come over there and talk to them. Okay.
Well, I
You over
mean,
there,
I
what?
understand what you're saying, Platinum.
Uh-huh.
I get it because there's no perfect way to do it. You know, you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and if that did happen to that young man, the brother in the, with the chat or whatever, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know, you trying to holler at a chicken and they're trying to get you locked up for it. It's like, I mean, that's insane. I don't
Yeah,
even know how to break that down.
well,
That's
it's
crazy,
crazy.
bro.
I know do business, but it's really sort of the truth, because if you go and a women now, just recently for me, I was at the airport. I was at the airport, man. I went to do something at the airport. So I turned the corner, and where I was going, there was no person behind the counter. And it was a very attractive woman right there. I didn't come there for her at all. So I come across the count. I come across the corner. I see her, and I look around. I don't see anybody. And I said, "Hey, excuse me. Do you know what a person is?" And I watched that woman literally jump out of her skin. And I was like, "What are you jumping around for?" I'm looking for the person behind the counter. I didn't ask you for your number. What do you mean? You would know, right? Oh, they say they'll be back. They say
Yeah,
they'll
I
be right
mean,
back. No, no,
yeah,
no. As a man, like you said, he was arrested. As a man, you say, damn, I can't ask. Where's the desk help at? So wait a minute. So I'm a bridge you as a woman? No, I didn't. I could have. I didn't try to get no number or nothing. But what I'm saying
yeah,
is they have to acknowledge men exist, and men has a right to say, hey, where's this at? Oh, and stop jumping out of your skin. What are you jumping out of your skin for? No, it was funny too, man. I was like, what's wrong? I said, that's cool. That's cool. And then I took care of it. The woman came back. I took care of business. in life. But so when these guys sell these stories, there's legitimacy to these stories. They're not making them up. I'm not 19. I'm not 20. I'm not going through what they're going through. I'm a grown man.
Well, I
But
mean, you got
that being said, I
mm,
100% understand what they're talking about.
yeah. I mean, it's about picking up on people's energy too, because some people give you that energy that they don't want to be bothered. So, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Yeah, like you say, you just talk to the people you need to talk to, and then sometimes you can just figure things out on your own if the directions are there. But everyone is not approachable, but you have to
Okay, let me
find that
just say
out.
this. You do
Yeah.
business, you drive truck. What if you
Mhm.
have a delivery to a state you've never been to, and you
Mhm.
pull your truck up, and then you go into a MapCo, and you say, I'm gonna ask somebody for directions, and you wait, and a woman comes in, and you wait, another person comes in, and then finally, woman comes in, you say, you know what, man, I need to get these directions. And you go up to her, and then all of a sudden, you arrest you. He's looking for directions. He's looking for directions, but we live in a world where they would do that.
Oh no, I
Well,
can't do
yeah,
that.
well, no, no, no. I'm saying there's some truth to it because you want to find, what turn or what street, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm from out of town. Can you tell me where Simmons Street is?"
Right?
And that becomes, "Oh, you're a bad man. Oh, this is a man. Get this man away from me."
Nah, that ain't happening. Nah, I know what you mean though. Just in case something like that did happen. Nah, man. Most people are pretty decent, but then you have a lot of people that are not decent. So I mean, a lot of people hate themselves. I seen some video on YouTube earlier. Well, a bunch of women was complaining about not wanting to work. They like to call off work a lot, making up
Mhm.
excuses, and it's just lazy. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to do nothing,
Well,
and you
we
don't
live
want to
in.
do nothing. You ain't gonna get
Mhm.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
we live in a very hypocritical world. Would I want to be 18? I wouldn't want to be 18 now. I just wouldn't want to be 18 now. It's too ridiculous. Just too ridiculous. I can see where these guys, like I said, and we ignoring what created Andrew Tate. You can't ignore that because what he's saying, and I think he's a bit way too extreme, but there's a baseline of truth in what he's saying. Now you and Dubin, now we live in a world where your son can be arrested for doing what? Asking a girl out on a date. He can be arrested now. He's a man. What is he supposed to do? And see, we 30 years ago that didn't exist.
Well, I mean, I hear you, but it's good to do that in social settings. Now, you can't always do that in public, depending on where you at. Sometimes you just gotta,
Uh,
move like how you gonna move. I get what you're saying because, like I said, there's no perfect way to do anything. But yeah, sometimes it's just good to do that in social settings. But like, yeah, sometimes you just don't need to say anything to anyone unless it's necessary. But then you got to still watch that. So it's like, I mean, I get what you're saying. Because everybody, has their own, situations or whatever. I ain't never really had no problems like that with people out there. If someone is unlikable, I just don't deal with them. Simple as that. I could pick up on your energy. So that comes with a lot of wisdom because sometimes you can see it in people that they're just not good people. Well, I ain't even finna go over there. It's a beautiful thing when you can see it from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. Let me go the other way. So let me go do this. Let me go do that. So I mean,
but you got to go in though, and you got to make a move,
yeah,
do business. You're a man, they're women. There's nothing wrong with you having an interest. And you're saying it's got to be a social setting. Yeah, you're right. But you can be doing your job and delivering something, and you see a very, very attractive woman. You just got to
mhm.
know how to do it. You got to be respectful. We don't forget respect now. You just got to be respectful. you ain't have no problem, man. I
Yeah,
remember when I was
yeah.
when I was in the service, there was this young white girl. She must have been 18. Um, for whatever reason, they put her with me. I think, maybe I was 20. They put her with me and they wanted me to show everything. Let me tell you something, man. Cause see, I'm gonna be for real with you. She wasn't my thing. So that woman, the way those dudes was coming at that woman, it didn't make no sense. Cause I was like, what's going on here? Every 2 minutes, dude's trying to talk to her. So I'm walking around the base and the dude says so and so. I said, yeah, what about it? You're a great person. We were around the same age, wonderful person. You try and do that? I said, huh? Nah, man, she cool. I said, nah, it ain't even like that because what you trying to say, we don't even look at each other like that. But then I said, but all of these chiefs, I said, man, they won't leave that woman alone. Still tell him I ain't here. I go and say, nah, she ain't here, man. She went to the bathroom. And I said, huh? And now she ain't here. And she wound up getting her a Marine boyfriend. He was like 6'3", all that working out, white guy. And none of those guys was trying to, black guys didn't really mess with it, but all the white guys that was there trying to talk to her, it didn't make sense. It literally didn't make any sense the way they were acting for her. See, we don't even live in a world like that no more. Dudes now are afraid to talk to women.
I don't really. I mean, like I said, I mean, some guys are, and that's true. Some guys are, but as a whole, I don't really think that's the case, man. I just think that a lot of, I mean, some people just, I don't know, man. Like honestly, I really can't answer every single question. But I hear a lot of women saying that dudes don't approach them when they go out and stuff. A lot of times, man, I mean, are you making yourself approachable? You know what I'm saying? Because it's still a 50-50, you know what I'm saying, game when you out, at certain spots, like, you know, um, it's not always about men approaching women. I mean, women gotta at least, show the man that, that she wants to be, approached. Like some women do give off of this energy that all they want to do is just hang out
Well,
with each other. So if
but no,
that's
no,
the
no, no,
energy
no,
that you
no, no, no,
have, then ain't nobody gonna say
no,
nothing to you.
no, 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 no. And you're right, it is a skill. You got to read people.
Yeah.
But if a woman is real distant and, in your opinion, rude, unless you got a lot of game, unless, and when I say a lot of game, you've been married before,
Mhm.
you're very, very familiar with the ways of a woman.
Yeah.
Unless you have that, you got to leave them alone because it's not going to end well for you. If they're being rude to you, if they're not responding to what you're saying, just leave them alone.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. That's crazy.
Well, no, if you got game, you can get to that. You can go through that.
Nah, not if she tripping. Nah, you don't
Well,
lost your mind. You ain't
okay.
gonna talk to me like that. Who you think you talking to?
Well, you say she getting all that. Now you're right. This all loud
Your
and stuff
butter
like
bean
that.
face ass up out of here. I'm trying to be nice to you
Nah,
now.
they all right, man. Nah, they all right. You gotta um they cool, man. They cool. They want men though. I'll tell you that. They do want men. But
Yeah,
they
yeah,
cool. It's the social media has destroyed male female relationships because the men society don't want men to be men. Andrew Tate, we're talking about Andrew Tate and his masculinity and things he taught. He had extreme popularity with young people. Society don't want men. They don't want a man to be a man now. And then the women who need men, they're masculine. So it's all types of problems out there. But You still got to keep your hat in the ring, and things will work out for you. Just stay positive.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's the balance. That's the balance. You got to stay positive. It's interesting though. It's very interesting, man. I mean, there's so many people talking about it. You know, that's all I be seeing on you. And you know what? Honestly, Platt. I mean, I stopped watching a lot of these content creators because that's all they talk about on their stuff anyway. I see a lot of people doing it. There's always a lot of separation, and complaining instead of like you say, actually saying something positive and actually trying to get with them, or just people just being cool with each other is always rooted in a lot of nonsense. And it's like, damn, that's all your channel is about, dog. I can't even watch you. You ain't got nothing to talk about.
Well,
Every
guys,
video.
yeah, guys want to just bask in negativity and failure. A lot of these guys are failures. They failed, and they want you to speak like that because that makes them feel good. If I come out and I say there is no reason to even talk to women. No, let's talk about that Tate crowd. Man, you shouldn't even talk to them. You're wasting your time talking to them. There are a segment of men who would gravitate to that.
That's what I'm
Now,
saying, man.
I
That's
would be
crazy,
lying
bro.
to I would be lying to them because you got to understand. Okay, all right, insecurities, inadequacy, dating exposes that. When you date a woman, all your insecurities are going to be laid out on the table. Your inadequacies, what you feel like you are not. That's why it's so important for you to believe in yourself and to get beyond that. Because that woman is going to look at you and judge you. Who's this man trying to get to know me? And like we see, what he's not tall enough, he's not rich enough, he's not smart enough, he's not strong enough. A lot of men, like I said, in the age of the internet, they're very weak. And other than trying to financially take care of her, they don't possess none of the intangibles you need to be a father, to be a husband, and a protector, and a teacher. They don't protect those. They don't have those things. And that's why you have this void.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, that's why you have this void that we have right now. So, and then see me, now you got to understand me. I'm not 18, but I will, and I have done, and I'll do it again. I'll slide right in there. You looking for a man, baby? Well, you found one. That's your man right there, that little ass boy with the Nike tech on,
Yeah.
trying to be a rapper. That's who you dating? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nah, man, hey, man, it's where it is, bro. That's on there. I look at that as that on there. I said, man, you don't want to grow up, man. That ain't my fault. But I'm gonna take care of this chick right here. I
Yeah.
know what to do with her. I said, you go and rap, man. Go rap. Go write you a rap song. Rap, 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 rap.
Well, I mean, that's the type of dudes that they like sometimes anyway. The dream sellers or whatever. I'm gonna be rich one day and all this kind of stuff. And they like that kind of stuff, man. Well, some women.
This chick told me, fine, motherfucker. Well, she done had a baby and them days are over. But before that, she said, you was okay. And I said, well, then, but I saw you with your boyfriend. She said, so? I said, huh? She said, well, he was just with me. She said, but you didn't really try to pursue me like that. I said, I didn't because you was with your boyfriend. She said, yeah, we ain't together no more. But if you would have pursued me. I said, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. So if I would have came at you like I'm trying to get you, everything would have been good. She said, yeah, but you never did that. And I said, I backed up because you had a boyfriend. She said, okay. But she said, he ain't never stopped me. Fine thing too, man. Well, she married now. But what I'm saying, I was like, damn, what kind of world do we live in? What
Yeah.
kind of world do we live in? Because I'm like, what? I said, you want me to press you? I meet your boyfriend. You still want me over in the cut, talking about some when we gonna go out? And that's really how you're supposed to do it. See, that's what I'm saying. We going back to the old day. That's really how you're supposed to do it. You both sit there right there with her boyfriend. Hey, how you doing, man? Y'all doing good? Y'all a great couple together. All right, man. And then you say, hey, let me say something. I got to go because let me holler at you before I get up out of here. And the boyfriend's still sitting at the table. Say, yo, so what we going to do?
Yeah.
What we going to, I see your man, but what we going to do? Yo, what's your man got to do with me? That shit? So what? Okay, you got a man. Okay, I'm trying to do something. What you going to do? She told me she'd have been like, okay, let's do this. And this was before the baby, before the marriage. I said, God damn. And I blamed it on the internet. I said, I hate the internet. It jam you up. You can't be the man you need to be.
I wouldn't say that. Nah, I mean, yeah, the social media has definitely destroyed a lot of, dudes or whatever, or just people in general. But I mean, if you're using it for the right reasons, it's actually beneficial. So I mean, if you're talking about just, people interacting with each other like dating or whatever, I mean, it's just an extra way to meet, people. So I just don't want to do that all the time like that, because I mean, some women, you have to talk to them on social media, depending on who she is. But it's better to do, the face-to-face interaction thing. But yeah, man, there's a lot of women that got dudes chasing them around all over social media because that's the only way he know how to keep in touch with her. It's just crazy, man. That's just how some people get down. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, it could be beneficial, all kinds of ways. So, but you do still got the incels like y'all be talking about, or just dudes afraid of women.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen if you sitting around looking at all this Instagram.
Yeah.
And you gotta understand the makeup of a man. You got the biology of us, right?
Right.
We're really not made to be exposed to certain things, but because of capitalism and all of that, and you take the makeup of a man 15, and they're constantly being pounded, a man pounded with images and images, and you go on Twitter. You're going on Twitter because of a game. You're trying to figure out some code on the game, and you're pounded with half naked women, half naked women, half naked women, Insta, half naked women. You develop a sensitivity to that. So when you go into a room full of grown, functional women who are very interested in you, you don't know how to deal with them. You don't know how to deal with them because of the way they make you feel. And so now you have the man who's in his feelings. You have the man who's in his feelings, not the woman, the man. So instead of the man producing the feelings that he should within the woman, she's now producing the emotions in the man. So you have this conflict. So you're going to have a void. You're going to have a serious void where men, to some degree, are so separated from where they need to be as a man to deal with women. I didn't say the women still not attracted. The women still, they'll deal with the Nike tech, want to be a rapper, thug boyfriend. They'll still deal with them. Right? But a man, they still going to be weak for a man. So as long as you are a man, you're going to win. As long as you choose to live the life of a man, you're going to be ahead. Now, you still have these grown-ass 40-year-old men trying to be rappers. Those are not men. Those are children. And so you can see the disgruntlement of women when you got 40-year-old men talking about rapping or trying to get a guitar band. There's going to be a problem there. Like the stream, man. Got to have the right mindset. We got Andrew Tate. He's sitting in a jail cell. He's about to be extradited to England. There's been 6 more charges added to the indictment. Will Trump intervene? Will Trump intervene? Will Trump say, hey, let's send them back to Romania? They've been loyal supporters. I'm going to send them back. Or will Trump let them be sent back to England to stand trial? And people have already said years and years. It'll be years. In fact, they'll fade away. They're talking about the Tate brothers fading into oblivion. And I can see that. It don't take long. All it takes about 2 or 3 years. And then boom, you are erased. Like the stream, man. Support the platform, man. Subscribe to the channel. Do business. We went over 11,000 subs.
Hey, congratulations, bro.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. Well, and we should. We're actually behind. We should have 20,000, but you know.
Well, you know how it is on YouTube. Some of the realest people don't really have 1 million subscribers, you know. So that's actually a plus, you know, on your part.
You're right, man. The regular people, you know, in the algorithm, YouTube don't want to really promote you like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll promote it. If I took a can of whipped cream and covered myself in whipped cream and ran around in a Spider-Man suit, YouTube promote that. They promote that.
Man,
But when you're trying to help someone and do something, they don't want to promote it.
That's crazy. That's how it is, man. That's exactly how it is, bro. People want to be entertained instead of, you know, actually helped, you know, and taught, you know, in a certain way. So, but I mean, it's all good, you know. It is what it is. It's crazy, man. Think about it. Yeah.
No, it's all good, man. It's just the way things are, man. You know,
yeah.
But game and stuff, and I listen to the game guys and stuff. They chop up good game over there. But a lot of the guys, they're not ready to jump in the deep side of the pool. And how you gonna date? How you gonna date a woman and you afraid to jump in the deep side of the pool? You just did. You don't know that you did. That person is now responsible for you. What are you gonna do? I'm finna go out of town to Denver. She said, okay, I'll come with you. How you gonna take care of this person? And you all timid and sheepish. You can't do that as a man.
Right. Yeah, your confidence level has to always be, you know, on the highest level. You know what I'm saying, when you're dealing with women. So, yeah, but I mean, that's crazy when you think about it, man. I mean, because I see it. I see it happening a lot, man. So many guys talking about that stuff, man. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. It shouldn't really be at this level, Platinum, but, you know, dude's got so many situations going on, man. It's crazy. Like, even MTR, you know, said something one time, you know, he was trying to holler at a chick in Atlanta at some spot, and she kind of, you know, brushed him off a little bit, didn't really pay him no attention, you know. He probably should have kept that to himself since he's such a big YouTuber. You know, he probably should have just, you know, should have never told no one that. But, you know, even someone like that, man, I mean, if you got a lot of popularity, man, you know, someone is going to notice you eventually. So you should feel good about that. So, I mean, if you did try to holler at a chick and she, you know, brushed you off, I mean, what you tripping for? You know, so it's really no big deal. Handling rejection is part of the game. I'm not going to tell you that I always got a female phone number that I try to holler at. You know, some of them chicks, you know, be in relationships and they be like, nah, I'm good. You know, or she may not just don't want to give you the number, but you ain't always going to get the phone number, bro, or get the interaction with the woman. I mean, if you can't handle that, then, I mean, goddamn, bro. That's crazy. Everything is not going to go your way all the time when you're dealing with women. So I mean, that's
Yeah, just like that group of women right there. It's 9 women. As a man, you ain't talking about marriage. You just talking about dating. I'll do it. I'll talk to all 9 of them. And when I say talk to, I try to get to know all 9 of them. I'll try to get to at immediately, like in a group, no. But as I navigate myself around the party, I'm gonna ask all 9 of them for their phone number. Because as a man, a bunch of them, you're gonna have a certain amount of failure within dating. You have to factor that in. You can't say, like you said, I like the one with the tattoos. Okay, that's the only one you ask out. You can't do that because it's a possibility 4 or 5 of them like you. And maybe the one with the tattoo don't like you. So what do you want to do? You want to date or not?
Yeah, see, I can't even see the other 3 all the way to the left. I can't even see them.
Okay, but, well, I can see them.
But I mean, even let me see. You got the one all the way to the far right. Them 2 right there, they look all right too. So I mean, these ain't no bad looking women. I can tell they kind of young though. They definitely in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. See, Scottie Pippen got him a 23-year-old.
Yeah, college girls.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. They need men too, though. I'm just saying, if the guys want to be thugs and walk around in Nike suits, why not come in there and be a man to those women? They don't want that. They want a man.
Yeah. You got to know how to dress too. Yeah, the Nike suits. Yeah, come on, man.
He said, I like the cowboy. There you go. You can get a conversation and a number just off, I like your cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I like your hat. Hey, excuse me. I like the way you wear your cowboy hat. And then if she feeling, she's gonna give you a number anyhow. And that's as simple as that. Guys overcomplicate this stuff.
Hey, man, you took the words out of my mouth, man. Yeah. You take it way too serious, man. It's like I said, if you like that, you don't really need to be trying to holler at women. You need to go get your, I don't know, take a game course or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, but you can't be doing that. You can't act like females, man. Females their expectations are different. So I mean, I expect them to act like that. But as a man, I mean, come on, bro. Shake it off your shoulders and keep it moving, man. There's too many women out here for that.
Mm-hmm. I like the one in the middle though.
Which one you talking about next to the
one in the middle, 5'2", 160. I like that.
You ain't talking about the red hair. You talking about next to her?
Yeah, with the red hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very attractive hair color for a lot of women, especially if she red. It matches. It's a very attractive color, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually don't like I'm a different type of dude. I don't like women with tattoos. I don't. But yeah, that would be just an immediate turn off for me, the tattoos.
Yeah, some women do get kind of over, especially if they got it all on their neck and everything. Like, you're doing way too much. Not your neck. But yeah, I mean, if she got a few tats on her legs or whatever, that's all right. Or even on the arms. But yeah, she can't have too many tats. But yeah, some women get out of hand with that.
I think thug though. No, when I see a woman and she's full of tats, I think she like thugs. Now, I can be a thug, but I don't want to be a thug. No, I'm very capable of being a thug, but I don't want to be one. And I don't. And like it's a personal thing. I just don't like women who want to date guys like that. I don't like that. So I'm saying, even though they're attractive, I look at it like, you don't know how to appreciate a real man. So until you learn how to appreciate it, enjoy your thug. I'm not going to your funeral. And I tell her that. I'll tell her, I say, okay, that's your man, right? So I'm not coming to your funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Nike Tech pistol pulling thug boyfriend is gonna get you popped. So do your thing.
Yeah, you gotta watch the spots where you meet women at too. Yeah, you gotta know where you're going, man. Cause they are attracted to certain type of dudes. Um, Unfortunately, but just be yourself. I always say be yourself. Never switch up for a female. I stopped messing around with a number of chicks that act like what you're talking about. Like, nah, I'm just not into that. You know what I'm saying? And you really ain't even got to tell her nothing. Just be like, you just got to cut her off because you understand her mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm kicking it with a chick or I'm going out with her, I just want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Not too bougie, not too classy, but we ain't got to do all of that. But you just want to, have a good time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, go out with a chick and I gotta get into it with some dudes and shit. All of that crazy stuff, man. It's just not worth it, man. Especially if you're in your 40s. God damn. I'm gonna leave you where you at. You know what I'm saying? So.
He said she ain't got no baby hairs, Platt. Yeah, I got you. You talking about that little weave stuff. Nah, they all right, man. They cool. They cool. And the dudes need to step their game up. That's really what that come down to. They ain't gonna do it though. And the Tates, this is why Tates has an opportunity. They don't want to deal with the way society treats young men, which opens the door for Andrew Tate to come in. And he's right, though. Andrew Tate's right. If you're trying to talk to a girl and you 18, they want to send you to jail for what? Trying to talk to a girl? That's crazy, right? We need to get away from that. And these parents are failing these boys. You can't let your boy look at no porn. Look, you got to get that stuff away. Oh, they're going to get it any kind. They'll do that, but you got to make sure as a parent, you don't want them to do it. They need to know it's wrong. They need to know that shit wrong. You'll mess your kid up looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
And they will be afraid of women when they see women because they so hyped up off that porn.
Yeah, they think all women are like that in real life. Like, nah, dog,
They think they're going to, you say hello to them and then you busting them down and, they don't work that way.
Yeah, they're not used to dealing with those type of women.
Said, no, that's fake. What you mean? Well, the guy knocked on the door with a pizza and then he was doing, that's fake. That ain't how the real world works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Role plays, all these scenes and shit. Yeah. Right.
Actually, porn has been criticized because of the makeup. No. They said they use a lot of makeup, and they do. And they said women have stretch marks. Women have imperfections. And men need to accept that's just simply how they are. He said, if you a dude who look at a lot of porn, you only see the women made up and look in a certain kind of way. So it gives you a false perception of reality. So it's not good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. A lot of dudes be out of their league sometimes, man. Like, if you're not used to dealing with those kind of women, man, just stay away from them. When you meet them, they just regular people, man. They that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't got to be trying to wipe the chick up, man. Even a porn chick or whatever, or Instagram, whatever. Even they like to, go out and have a good time. They out there like that. You may not want to be seen with them, but if you are seen with them, just enjoy it, man. But like I said, don't take it too serious. Don't be stupid. So a lot of dudes be acting like they ain't never had no box platinum. They be too thirsty, man. Be a little bit too thirsty sometimes.
Well, you gotta stop, man. You gotta make up your mind what you want to do. Period. It don't work both ways. You got to make up your mind. That means you got to give something up. Like we say, video games. You're a grown man. You got to get that up. What you mean? I love them. I said, nope, can't look at them. They're video games. You got to let them go because you want to deal with women, right? You got to deal with your hygiene. You got to deal with your grooming. You got to get fresh haircuts. You got to get your clothes to fit. These are things as a man you have to do on the job. You want to get into your senior leadership position. You don't want to avoid promotions because you want to be you want to sack out
Right.
and yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to be promoted because if I be promoted, man, I gotta watch all that. I gotta be a supervisor, and when I come to work, man, I won't come to work, man. I'm gonna do my job, and then we always after we finish, we all get together, man, and talk about sports or do A, B, C, and D, and be like, I'm all right, boy, I make, man. And then if I'm a supervisor, man, I can't do that. We got to grow up, man. See, a lot of us just haven't grown up, man.
Yeah, I
And
mean that's true.
no,
That's
this is
true.
where you can get on an Andrew and say they're not grown up because look at them. It's like, man, what are you doing, man? Running around here with neck chains on and sockless, loafers with no socks and talking about Bugattis and stuff. You need to be a man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what this dude talking about in the chat. Talking about.
I don't know what do you mean by that. It's probably a gay dude. He sound like a gay dude.
Yeah, with like you said with the video, a lot of people are afraid of change. I mean, they just get used to. I mean, like I say, I know people like that, and like I said, I can't hang with them because we have nothing in common. You know what I'm saying? I got a boss mentality, so I'm doing things that's going benefit me years from now. But you want to play video games and you got kids to take care of, and that's sad, man. And I know a number of people like that. They still doing the same old stuff, man. They just don't want to change. They just want to stay the same.
But a life of a man, all of this pleasure, that's not the life of a man. The
Yeah,
life of a man is to be a beast of burden. And then what's your reward? Well, you get to have a family. And that's it. Yep. Because that's to understand that you're living the life of a man. You're not a woman. All of that extra stuff, that's more aimed toward them.
yeah,
And dudes don't want to accept that. And a lot of women raise their kids up, even though they're men, they raise their kids up to be like women and walk around talking about feel and I want to feel good. And
uh-huh.
that's never been the position of a man, feelings.
Yeah,
Men had to go out there in cold when it's freezing out there. He got to get out there in that freezing weather. Men had got to go out there in that heat.
uh-huh.
Men got to go out there and do that job and sweat for what? So they can take care of their family. They can put food on the table.
Yeah, man. You got to get things done, man. Yeah, you got to get things done, man. I mean, it is so true, Platinum.
Yeah, just like you got to get on the road. Dad? I want you to stay here. That's my job. I'll be back. I'm doing this for you and mom. But
Yeah,
Dad, I don't want you to go. Okay, you don't want me to go. I got to do this for you and mom. And why, Dad? Why? Because I'm I'm your father. I got to take care of you. But I don't want you to go. That's what I'm saying. We're men now where they'll say, you should quit, man, so you can stay there with your kid.
yeah, yeah. I got you now.
Uh-huh.
Nah, man. You never let a child question you. You put them in check real quick. You stay in the child's place.
Mm-hmm.
Now go do something. You know, but you know what I mean. It's just a way to talk to people. But yeah, you don't never let no child question you. You don't even let your woman question you. Now that doesn't mean that she shouldn't question you. But when it comes to certain things, it's like it's non-negotiable. You know, when you got something to do, it got to get done. Or if you did something, and I guess she wanted to question you about it or didn't approve of it, well, it's over with now. It's done. Some stuff. Yeah, you got to be a man. So yeah, I
That'd be a man.
know exactly what you've been saying, Platinum. You got to
Mhm.
stop trying to cater to everyone and trying to be a people person to everyone.
I
And you
do
can't do
business. I'll get me a pair of Dickies. I'm serious. I'll get me a pair of Dickies, top and bottom. I'll get me some timber boots, right? And I'll get me a baseball fitted. Not like no sports team. I say with no logo.
that. Right.
And I'll go straight to the gas station that all the people when the club let out that they be at. I take my car and I put gas in it. And I'm telling you something, because there's so few men, 90% of those women are gonna want to do something with you. 90%. 90%. Because you're a man, and those other dudes, they can wear their Nike Techs, they can wear their skinny jeans. They're not men, they're boys.
Yeah.
They're boys. And
Where
you ain't even trying to press them like that. You just trying to put gas. Watch, you'll see the women gonna be choosing up. They're gonna
Yeah,
be
that happened
choosing
to
up.
me before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was just staring at me. I was like, what's wrong with this? But I had a work uniform on. She was just staring at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You right.
That's what you got to do, man. But I do business.
All right, then play. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate you. All right.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
That was do business, man. And we talked about Andrew Tate, man. Is Trump gonna set him free? I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. They're national news now. They're gonna be all on Good Morning America. And Andrew, all the stuff he said, Piers Morgan, they're gonna interview him live from his imprisonment. Andrew Tate. Is Trump gonna intervene and set him free? Those are some serious charges. Those are serious charges. Him and his brother. And all of that Brugatti and Brokies and Brugatti, that's might come back to hunt him. He's a Brokey and a Brugatti. Shout out to you, good convo. We have that over here, man, and we take your conversation and disagreements, but we try to be respectful. If you're gonna call me, I don't insult, so don't insult me. But we've been very fair. And I'm gonna say this again. I didn't try the case. If you someone and say, look at what he's accused of, I see what he's accused of. He'll have his day in court. The way the world works, he's innocent until proven guilty. And that's where you need to take a position. Think about what you're saying. You're saying because he's accused of these things, he's guilty? How do you know he's guilty? But all right, man, we finna go ahead and shut this down, man. We appreciate you for listening, man. Look, shout out to John Henry. John Henry, you came through, bro. You're always welcome, man. You're always welcome. But we got to shut this down, man. We out.